Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. It is January 13th at 4:02 p.m. Let's see, this meeting is being audio video recorded. Anything you say or share will be shown on the town's website, YouTube website. Please act accordingly. Proper decorum is that speak after being recognized by the chair. Most certainly that will help our minutes makers. And if you are speaking from the public or representing someone, please state your name. And let's see, the HDC accepts public comments at hdcpubliccomment@nantucket-ma.gov. Comments are due by 8 a.m. the Monday prior to the meeting. All said, can I get a motion, regular members, to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Being none opposed, carries unanimously. Commissioner discussion and vote. We got a couple of items. We're going to move up discretion of the chair. Proposal of the certified local government, CLG, being the appointing authority of an historic preservation sector member to the Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Commission and PNEDC, and we may take a vote. And for that, good afternoon, Leslie. Welcome. We have the town's planning director.
Oh, hi. Thanks. Leslie Snell, Director of Planning. Nice to be here today. I haven't been to an HDC meeting in a long time.
Nor have I.
So thank you for scheduling this agenda item. You all may have been following the NP and EDC legislation discussion that's been going on for quite some time. And the Planning Commission has talked a lot about their membership during part of that discussion. And they're very interested in changing to more of a sector-based membership as opposed to receiving appointees from other boards, committees, commissions. They talked a lot about the expectations of people serving on one committee and then all of a sudden having to serve on other committees because of that. And that it really, maybe stretches people too thin at times and limits the pool of people who are available to serve. So as, part of their discussion, they talked a lot about having a historic preservation appointee to the Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Commission, which I should point out is one of the 13 regional planning agencies in the state. So that's an important role that we have here for our region, which is just Nantucket, but still a region recognized by the state. So they'd like to add a historic preservation seat. And the thought is if that seat is appointed by the Certified Local Government Commission, which is composed of the HDC members and the NHC members, that in itself would provide a wider pool of candidates to pick from. But because they're interested in having a sector-based appointment, you could also select someone who's not even on the commission, but someone who's within the community, who has a role in historic preservation or a deep interest in historic preservation. So again, what they want to do is really widen the pool of candidates to be considered for an annual appointment on the NP and EDC. So our question for you today is that something that you support being a part of that process, a part of that appointing authority, or would you prefer to leave that to just the NHC, which is the other option that's been discussed?
Okay, thank you. And you're here for a few minutes in case we got questions.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So kind of a new topic, but pretty simple and straightforward. And this was brought to my attention and welcomed bringing it to the full commission for discussion. Before we open discussion, why don't we see, and actually this will be a matter open to all members, including the alternates. Let's see if there's any questions for the planning director first. Any questions? Ray?
I have one question.
Angus and then Ray.
So I'm trying to understand what you're saying about the CLG appointing anyone in the community. Is that what you're saying, as opposed to anyone within the HDC or the NHC?
Yes. So across the board with conservation, with housing, with social services, with business. The commission is looking at sector-based appointments as opposed to appointees appointing from their own board to sit on the commission.
Thank you.
Anything else? At this
Uh,
point, questions only.
No, that's just the question.
Okay.
All right, so just logistically, us, our board, and the NHC, their board, and are we collectively,
As a CLG.
so collectively?
Yeah, and I just want to interject here. This may not be clear to you all, but as a student of process, once this authority is bestowed upon the CLG will work up its process as the authority having jurisdiction over the matter. And it will presumably be as individual would be appointable if they meet general criteria of representing the interests of both the CLG, the Historic District Commission, and the Historic Commission. Is this consistent with what NPDDC thinks?
Yes.
Okay, so I could sense that's where you were going, so I thought
That's
I'd
totally
jump in.
where I'm going. I'm curious to know, like, so we'll be voting collectively.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the other thing I think is a question, but I'll answer it just out of the gate in case it doesn't get articulated, is what this does is it broadens the pool so that we are not picking only from one commission or another. That's just an answer that the question has not been asked yet. Or Angus asked it in a different way. Any other questions? Is Joe and Carrie with us? You guys, any questions at this time?
No questions, thank you.
Okay.
have no questions. Thank you.
All right. Comments?
Well, I'm gonna do the obvious. Is there anybody among us who would
Yeah.
say no to that?
Yeah.
No.
Right, so I think that's an easy one.
Perfect. Thank you for stepping in. Val,
I think broadening the pool is a great idea.
excellent. I concur. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to have the CLG involved for a variety of reasons. And for a variety of reasons, I think a sector-based approach to these positions is beneficial to the community. And I applaud the NPDDC for taking that initiative. With that, I would ask if I think it's appropriate for us to vote on, a formal vote. It would be the elected members to support this initiative and to send a letter or act as necessary to do so, including stand up at town meeting if it goes to something like that. I know the NPDDC is a separate commission, but I don't know what the process will be. But if we vote on that now, then it's one and done and we can move forward. Comments?
Just on the process. So the planning commission is having a meeting on Thursday to vote on their final version of their draft legislation to go on the warrant, which will be considered by the select board on Wednesday, the 21st for adoption of the warrant. After that, the finance committee is the body that will hold public hearings to talk about the version, and then it will go to town meeting.
Okay, so the motion would please be to the effect that the HDC supports the NPDDC initiative to have the CLG appoint a sector-based representative and will act to further that goal. It would be a letter, Kathy, if you could kindly draft it, sign, based on behalf of the commission, and I'll sign as the chair. Is there a motion to that effect?
That was my very succinct motion.
Is there a second for discussion, or can we go right to a vote? We'll go right to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously.
All right. Thank you all
Thank
for
you for
taking
coming
time
in.
to talk
Thank
about
you.
that, and thanks for supporting the commission.
Thanks for coming
Have a
in.
good night.
Okay, we are going to move on to an announcement. We've been stating this. This will be, I think, the third week. We're going to state it one more week. There is a change. There's an enhancement to the old business process. We're all looking forward to it. Old business meeting hours will be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. effective the next old business meeting, which is January 27th, 2026. The next following item on the agenda is consents. We have I'd like to get a motion to modify the consent agenda so that number 6 Number 5, 268 Pulpus Road Pool Hardscape is moved to consent with conditions. And Kathy, I presume this is the not visible at time of inspection or thereafter.
No grade changes. from prior.
No grade change from existing prior to time of application.
Yes, please.
Is there anyone who would make that motion?
So moved.
We can do it all in favor, say aye. Regular
Aye.
board, carries unanimously.
Thank you.
And on consents, are there any recusals?
Is Carrie is recusing.
Yep.
Regular board.
Yep, oh, sorry.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can I, well, just that there would be the addition of 268 to the consent with condition list.
Yeah, we've already
Yeah.
moved it off the agenda, so off the consent agenda, so we don't actually have to take that kind of redundant move, but I appreciate that. Yes, that is correct. Did I say all in favor? And I heard
You did.
unanimous? Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Consent with conditions, noting that 268 Pulpus has been moved as prior voted. Are there any recusals? Do we have a motion
Motion
to approve?
to consent with conditions, including 268.
Thank you.
Pulpus Road.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Now we're on to Commissioner Q&A with Preservation Planner. Holly, we've got some news for you about the CLG. The HDC just voted to appoint a member to the NPDDC. We thought you'd be excited to hear about that. Would you have any you'd like to share with us?
Well, one, I support that move, so thank you very much. I think as your CLG coordinator, I think that's a good move, and I appreciate NPDC reaching out and requesting this. Only thing I do wanted to mention on behalf of a couple of things that have happened in the last couple of months that I haven't been able to mention to you all. When was it? The end of October, I had the privilege to basically go to a NARAB class. I don't know if I mentioned that to the commission. I don't think I did. Basically, it was selling historic properties, but the Nantucket version. This is the third time that I've had the opportunity to do this for NARAB, part of their education continuing ed's requirement. Myself and Mary Bergman and Sarah McLean from the NHC attended that for a NARAB, and I'll tell you, it's a great thing. They appreciate the time, and one of the things that I think we do as a collective is emphasizing, at least I do, emphasizing the importance of our historic determination processes, building with Nantucket in mind, and some of those things that we see that are habitually left off applications, what have you, kind of reminding, because at the end of the day, the realtors are our force, if you will, to kind of get people in the right direction. And then on the CLG front, I wanted to mention that I currently have an RFQ out there on the ether, waiting for a consultant to pick up our fiscal year 23 grant that we received from MHC to get a consultant to survey more of our properties in the historic district. So hopefully that will be something that I'll have good news for you all on. And then I submitted a pre-application to MHC for fiscal 26 funding. And this would be to hopefully create a preservation plan. So I'll be working on that application to the state, and hopefully we can get that moving forward. So good stuff on that front. And this actually would be something that would be a good idea after the master plan process that's been going on. It's actually a recommendation. So good stuff.
Great, thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Any questions for Holly on staff comments? Okay, Holly, anything you want?
I just wanted to point out that since this is old business, I've been indicating how many times applications have been before you all. I'm trying to do that religiously. And so it's very clear on how many times an application has been before you. For instance, if you see OB1, that means this is technically your second, but your first old business. So you've got some that are on there for quite a bit of time. Just want to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
sorry, I guess my mic was off. Mickey, I didn't see your hand to tell me, so I didn't know. I also want to just a quick notation, discretion of the chair. The town's deputy housing deputy director, Dylan Metch Ample, had reached out a little while back, cross up in email addresses, but nonetheless, I had requested that, and Holly was very gracious, reaching out to him to let him know, or will be, that he wanted to have the HCC involved in some sit downs, strategic planning and so on and so forth, but not design oriented so much as initiative oriented and support. And I just wanted to be clear, I think I'm comfortable speaking, which I rarely do on behalf of the commission, that we do support the town's housing initiatives in a general sense, but we can't really get involved in discussions because it could prejudice or could be perceived to prejudice the commission's role as the authority having jurisdiction of architectural review, and more particularly if an individual goes and speaks one way or the other at these events. So in their capacity, which they would be attending as an HDC member. So one, I wanted to make that known, and it's a dual purpose. One is we support generally the initiative, and I say generally because we can't get into any nuts and bolts on architectural review as official members of the commission because it could be deemed to be prejudicial one way or the other. Holly, anything you want to add? Okay, cool. All right. That moves us on to old business of December 2nd, 2025. And one Miss Val Oliver, representing Val Oliver Design, and Tom Myers, the owner of 20 Mass Ave. Commissioners, myself, Commissioner Polkamp, McLeod, and Paul. Alternates, should they be needed at a future date, and we hope they aren't, Val, is Connie.
You guys have looked at this once, and there was the overall comments were to simplify the building. I think it's important to keep in mind it's 22 feet high. So the dormers were the biggest concern, and I had flush dormers prior. I'm making them, sit up on the roof with little windows this time. And we just overall simplified everything. There are 2 other boathouses out here. One is built, I think it's number 10, maybe. Very similar in lines. And then I link Tori just got one approved, I believe, for number 8, which is farther toward the water. Yeah, that's it. We tried to simplify it and make it look more like a boathouse.
Okay, thanks, Val. Commissioners, you know who you are. Does anyone retain any concerns or new concerns?
I have one comment. This is Joe speaking.
And then,
But the pent roof feels a little bit big to not have brackets. So either the pent roof, I think, needs to get smaller, or the brackets need to come back. That's all.
I don't know why they didn't show up.
okay, thanks. Anyone else?
Agree with Joe.
I have a comment.
Angus?
Yeah, I really appreciate the reduction in the impact of the dormer by taking away the flushness of it. But what's left is a blank wall and then this floating bit of windows in that upper roof. And I think it would work a lot better and simplify to eliminate the dormer and put the windows into the eave. That would be like 6 light windows, like the lower sash of the gable windows. That would.
Can you point with your laser where you're talking?
Yeah. So just putting a couple of these or 3 of them or whatever. I mean, it's a storage loft, but yeah, and eliminating that because that's a very high extra eave, and just to have a blank roof, I think would fit into the setting much better. But also not having a blank wall below it would help. Thanks.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like,
Yeah, you're next then.
okay, okay. Yeah, I think, so it's a pretty high profile spot because you come around that corner and it's up the hill going up from the creek. And 22 feet is still pretty high. But I do think if we were to go with Angus's suggestion of, and I'm guessing that we're getting rid of the dormers and adding them to that space between the two eaves. I think that would be a lot simpler and a little bit more in tune with the rest of what's going on in Nantucket, which is really simple. So I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, just to be clear, we haven't decided anything yet. We've got two people who have concerns with them. So just to be clear. Ray?
Well, I actually agree with that. Is it a storage loft, Val? Is it a storage loft?
Yeah. We can live without the dormers for now.
Well, yeah, so I think that Angus is absolutely right that this building would be, so much simpler by doing what he's suggesting doing. And that would mean low windows, but again, if it's a storage loft, who really cares about standing up and looking out the window as opposed to just having light come in. So I'm in favor of that idea if that is kind of the way things are going. Thanks.
Okay.
I have a
Let's see,
question
Joe?
when you guys are done.
Yeah. Joe?
Yes.
Joe
I
went.
spoke,
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to chime in on the dormer topic.
I agree that it would simplify it. I think that they're small enough that they don't have a huge impact. They don't come all the way to the gable end or within 3 feet. So I'm fine with it as proposed, but I would fully support the motion to remove those and simplify it and drop the windows down. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I agree with Joe with one comment that I would just want to see the dormer slightly, probably 2.5 inches less wide. And the reason so precise is that that's the amount that you could eliminate, and the center shingle line, the shingles between the two sets of windows could be eliminated, and that could become a structural mole, both in terms of its presentation and its construction. And I think that would just be a nice little simplification in that dormer facade. But other than that, I think it looks nice. It's appropriate. Height, can you get 6 inches out of this? 6 or 9 inches? For an accessory structure, 22 feet seems a little bit high. That was my only concern.
22 feet is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Seems a little high for an accessory structure.
All right.
If I'm getting
So-
rid of dormers, I'm not giving up 6
Well,
inches, sorry.
Okay, well, that was the answer we're looking.
And then my
we're trying to
question
find.
was, what windows would go in that side part, like little windows like I have in the dormer? Not big windows.
Six light singles. right?
Yeah,
Like-
6 slide, just
like
2.
that.
Yeah.
Put up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it. some.
So 6 light would come, they would just basically be replication of the upper or lower sash of the windows below, proportionately downsized to fit in the space.
gotcha.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's,
Okay.
I could.
I don't really know
Work-
much
work
about
for me.
design, but this is my
Yeah.
guess.
You do
I'm
now.
happy to make a motion.
Okay,
if we're
this will be
looking
an
for-
exhibit A, correct?
It would be a motion to do an exhibit A with the removal of the dormers and put knee wall windows that are the size of the 6 light of the 6/6 sash below.
And I think 3, right? Not 4.
It could be either.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't we make it between 2 and 4 at the design prerogative of the applicant, if you're okay with that, Angus?
4 seems like a lot. I was
I
thinking
was
2, but
thinking
3,
3.
is good, and 3 is a good number. So that would be my motion. Oh,
Okay,
and the addition of brackets on the pit roof.
And are they spaced over the ones on the first floor?
Yes.
okay. Let's see, on your motion. Angus, Abby,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, we're gonna move on to Val Oliver.
Well, I'm just going to introduce the architect, Chris Moran
Okay,
from Brooks and Faltico, and he's going to take it from here.
Val,
okay.
is he gonna screen share?
I think so.
115 Cliff.
Yeah.
Let's see, the board is the same for the next 4, 5. It's like the windows. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Chris,
5.
I promoted you to panelist so you can screen share.
Myself, Ray, Abby, Angus, Carrie. Alternate should you be needed in the future is Connie. 2 of these do not have a board, but for the sake of consistency and based on past practice, we're going to continue with the same board. Okay, Chris, you're here.
I am here. I'm just trying to share my screen.
Stand by.
There's a 7-second timer. Oh,
Yeah, does it sometimes. I don't know why.
All right, let me know when you can see my screen.
what is our time limit on discussion or presentation? Is
2
it
minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Chris, just so you're aware, though, there is a timer. There isn't a timer on you capturing the screen and beginning to present. But
Okay.
there is a timer on the presentation and it's 2 minutes.
I remember.
And
Okay.
yes, we can see your screen.
Great.
Super.
Chris Moran from Brooks and Flatico for 115 Cliff Road. We last presented to you in October. We had comments, and we've studied each one of your comments and have addressed them in this. This is our 3rd presentation for the main house. We hope that you find all the updates satisfactory and that we can obtain a vote to move forward with the project after this presentation. So I'm going to start with, one of the comments was the size and the massing of the house, and wanted to be more contextual. So you see in our screen, this is our site 115, and I'm starting on 96. I'm going to kind of show the houses down the street, because this is how we started our contacts, and we just want to kind of explain to you how we got to where we are. So this is 96 Cliff Road. We're going towards 115, Gambrel, and you can see that kind of close to the road with a shrub in front of it. Here's it from the side. It's across Gambrel. You can see it going behind as well. That's 96. We keep moving towards 115. This is 108 Cliff Road, another Gambrel house I showed from Cliff Road as well as up above. So you can kind of see again, it's a Gambrel right in front, and then there's another one coming out towards you, the Gambrel. Moving to 111. This was the most recent build. And I'm showing this because this is 2 houses down from us. The ridge here is basically the same height as our ridge, and our flanking ridges on either side. Let me see. It was 6 inches shorter than what this house was, and this is based on the HTC drawings that were presented.
That's your time to start wrapping up this one.
Okay. The garage on the right, our Our garage is actually 2 foot 7 inches lower. I just want to kind of show you, this is like the big one here. This is our neighbor, 113. This is 115 next to it. Kind of see the size difference between these houses, and this is where we're getting our mass. I'll kind of go straight into our elevations here.
No,
We
Chris,
revised.
no.
Ray, please. Chris, on this, we're gonna go with HCC Eats with its eyes. We don't see bubbles on the, of any significance with respect to a variety of bubbles on the drawings indicating a variety of modifications. We understand that you removed the shutters and revised the roof walk, and that is replicated on the various elevations. So I think we're in a good place to actually go ahead and begin our comments. And we're going to do that. So Ray.
Okay, thanks. So with all due respect, I think that you said that you listened to our comments, but I had one comment on this application, and it didn't relate to the height of the building or anything like that. What it related to was the fact that you have gambrels on either side that are facing the road, but they're cross gambrels. So essentially you're creating this big box. The eave crashes right into the side of the main gambrel. That is what I object to. Those should not be gambrels. They should be dormers, the same way that you have dormers in the main piece of this building. No concern about the height, no concern about the massing, other than what I just said. Thank you.
Do I have a chance to respond to that? Because I was going to get to that
So
point.
Chris, this is where we make comments. You please respectfully make notes, and then
Mhm.
revisions come after that. Abby?
Sorry, I'm just pulling it up here. So I have the same comments that I did from the very beginning, that I think the height is overwhelming on this site. And it's a big departure from what is there now, which are, just a story and a half, simple. There is a gambrel, but it's very modest. And this is just before Top and it's still going down a hill, and it's just going to have a huge impact on the site. So, yeah, and I don't know if this is the third time we've seen this, but it's a very imposing design for this site. And I have asked for it to be simplified, brought down in height. And I'm worried about the south side of it, what that's going to look like going down whatever lane that is that goes down to the shore. So I don't see any changes, so I'm a bit disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you, Angus.
Yeah, I agree with the lack of response to the board's request as far as the overall scale and amount of detail. The shutters have been removed, which helps, but you look at both pictures and they're very, very similar, at least as far as the scale. And technically, I think there's something not quite right with the roof lines in this. When you look at the upper, the gambrel is up at one height and then drops to another height as it gets closer to the main mass of the building. But I think the larger issues are the overall scale. Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah, I'm with Ray on this. I think this building could be so much more successful if those turned gables on either side are not there. You can do dormers and get just as much light. I don't know about the space, but I think it could be so much more successful. This is really the only elevation I'm very concerned about. The roof walk definitely is still a bit odd for me that it's not on the main roof, but that would be odd too, because the legs would be so short. But that's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. So Chris, I'm with the commissioners on this. The gambrels, I think, are, well, primarily, I think the gambrels, the flanking gambrels are oversized. I think you would be better off removing them, some type of dormer. I agree with Angus in particular that something seems inappropriate with respect to the proportion of the cords and the height of the gambrel ends. And I note that in your imagery, you won't see this presentation. It is a more softening type of approach with additive massing, step down, so on and so forth. Lastly, I'll note procedurally, the HTC has a rule that was voted in as a best practice, and that is that applicants and or their agents will be responsive to the request to the commission, and that if material modifications as deemed appropriate by the commission aren't made within 3 meetings, there will be a vote for denial. If denied, it will be with prejudice, and there's a period of time within which, and you can check with the office, there's a period of time within which the applicant or a material representation of the application cannot be brought back. So I would urge you to make modifications, or I guess we go down the other path and appeal. And worst case with the appeal is it comes back to us and we tell you the same thing. So just a lot of time wasted there. We hope that doesn't become the case. So I refer you to the discussion points stated tonight and a closer review of the tape from the last meeting. And with that, we will move on to the guest house garage.
Mr. Chair, do you want to make a motion?
Right? Oh, yeah. I guess I was just so excited to be moving on. to
Yeah.
the guest house garage.
I'll hold for revisions.
Thanks, Abby.
Okay.
On your motion,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Okay, we're on to the guest house garage.
Okay. Starting with the elevation, south of elevation, facing Cliff Road, we moved the wall for the dormer back 3 feet from the edge of the roof. We've also moved it up, the wall up the roof, so it's going to be a smaller window at that spot, and the overall dormer itself has decreased. We adjusted this wall plane, so right here, so we showing more of this mass. It's emphasizing that as the main mass, centering the windows as well. That's on the back, and we also removed the shutters, just trying to simplify and make it more subtle. We've also simplified the garage doors, made it 1 panel, 2 light, tall windows, more representing a carriage style door from the Nantucket precedent. That's it.
All right, who'd like to begin, right? Keep up your.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, at first blush, this seems benign. However, I think that there's a fairly significant issue that I'm going to point out now. All right, and it concerns the dormers over the garage doors. That would be the west elevation. Okay, folks. All right, so we have these 6/6 windows that have a sill height that is down below the railing of the exterior stair. Now, when we look at the setback of the dormers in general from the face of the building on the first floor, what we see is that there's not nearly enough room to accommodate a 6/6 window in the way that's shown on the west elevation, which means that essentially the dormer is getting, or the gambrel roof is getting cut into on the bottom third. You can see the evidence of that. If you look at the west elevation and you see the little jog on the sides of the dormers, that's showing that the roof is cut away below that jog. In other words, you'd have to have some sort of a pan there or something, but in other words, it doesn't work. I hope you all understand what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Gary?
Did you say Carrie?
Yes.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, Ray, I get what you're saying there, and I agree. Those windows just seem too large. We don't really do pans, especially when they're visible from the street, which I think these would be. I feel like I appreciate the changes you made. I feel like it's the sighting on the property is right sort of as close to the road as possible. And I think this is pretty sizable for that kind of sighting. And I would love to see it, so that it's behind the face of the house in terms of the property line on Cliff Road. So it's not forward of it. I do appreciate that the garage doors are facing the house and not the street, but I do think moving it back from the street would help quite a lot because it does feel pretty large as a gambrel garage. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Angus.
I agree with what's been said. Yeah, my concern is this being uphill from the street and feeling imposing, and also I have an issue with it being forward of the main house. The dormer situation is a concern, but also the simplification of the garage doors. There was glass in a panel below, and now there's glass in a panel below. So I'm trying to figure out what the simplification there was. I think that the windows, just to build on Ray's comments about the dormer, is that the dormer windows have an extra detail that probably could just get eliminated, and those windows could get tucked up a little bit into the eave, have a header / plate. And those could probably just turn into 9 lights that are above the main roof line, as opposed to being cut in with a pan. And that's all. Thanks.
Thanks. So I think that's, Abby, did you go?
No, I didn't,
Please.
but I have some issues. I'm trying to think of something that hasn't been, because the dormers we've covered, and the garage doors, but so on the north elevation, where you have a very wide staircase and then a sort of a column, sort of an over the porch with columns. It's just for a garage, apartment, studio, whatever. It's just a little too fancy, or I don't know. I think, again, it has to be simplified. And at 22 feet, I guess we just did one at 22 feet. So, but so close to the road, I would consider that height also. So I think more simplification.
Thanks.
General.
Thanks, Abby. Chris, so the wells, I'll call them wells for lack of a better term at this point, are not well received. That's clear. My concerns are completely in line with everything that's been said, but the biggest concern is that I think without exception, all those concerns were previously stated and they haven't really been addressed in a material way. One that has not been mentioned is the cross gable. Abby mentioned it implied, but I want to bring attention to was the the motion was the comments were to reduce the size of that. I think what I'd like to ask is twofold. One is threefold. One is a motion for revisions to include the submission to include the minutes of this meeting. The minutes generated from staff, not generated by the applicant. And that you observe the three strikes, I guess we can call it a three strikes best practice. I would also like to get clarification before we move on to the motion that Abby, your prior motion includes that the minutes of this meeting will be included similarly with the main house.
Yes.
Was that an intention? Because we can go back and we will
No, I think that's a good idea.
we'll amend that
Yeah.
motion to indicate that after this motion.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion would be for revisions, that the minutes provided by staff would be included with the revisions, and that the three strikes best practice would be observed. Which goes without saying, but obviously we're emphasizing it and documenting it. Is that your, Angus?
Oh, just to clarify, this is round number 2. So next round is number 3. Okay.
Is that your motion, Angus or Abby?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Okay, on your motion,
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Carrie.
Aye.
And can we get a vote to amend or amend the prior motion for the main house, 155 Cliff, to include that the staff provided minutes will be included with the revisions?
Yes.
Is that your motion, Abby?
Yes.
On your motion,
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Carrie.
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, can I
Yeah.
just ask a question about that? Do you mean the
Yeah.
minutes that we do for Otter AI? Is that?
The minutes that are provided and put on the website.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate you getting clarification. Okay, I guess we'll see what happens with the pool house, and then, of course, the pool and hardscape will track as we'll reciting the shed. Abby?
Do we have to make a motion on that to track?
No, we'll get to that next. I'm just telegraphing that point. Though those aren't listed yet. Next is the pool house. And if there aren't material changes on this, we're just gonna go right to a motion.
Oh, you asked for, the board asked for a landscape plan. And we also provided elevations as well. Showing the evergreen hedging and the screening of that. So here's the proposed pool house. This is the hedging from the parking area. And this is from the street, so it's pretty well hedged. We've all seen the design, but our kind of updates are here, looking at that from the inside of the drive court, and then from the side, from the guest house, or the main house, I should say, the main original existing house.
Okay. Let's see. Any concerns?
Yes.
Ray.
The landscape imposed on the elevations demonstrates that this roof will be visible. So two concerns about the roof. One, the round window that's very atypical. And the second is this is the cross gable, the cross gambrel form of which I was complaining about on the main house and on the garage. So here it is manifested in gable form. That's it. Thanks.
You were polite without being cross about the crosses.
Yes. The crosses.
Abby,
Yeah, I agree. Nothing to add.
Angus.
No, I'm with what's been said.
Carrie.
Me too. And I think it just needs to be said that a pool house should be not bringing attention to itself. And the cross gable with the round windows is doing exactly that.
Thank you. I agree. My comment will be that it occurs to me on both this structure and the other structures that the addition of gables and my ever favorite, because they're the most typical aspect of Nantucket designs in many ways, are clipped gables. So you can begin to add some new vocabulary to the design, and it will help to decrease the perception and impact of the structures. Do we have a motion to hold for revision and the minutes,
So moved.
to include the minutes on your motion?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. We don't have the motion, but we're gonna track shed and pool hardscape. Okay, Chris.
Can you explain
Uh,
the, so I know exactly what we're doing here. You said last, we're going backwards, so the 3-strike policy and where we are on that.
You can check with the office. You're two, I'll summarize that you are 2 hearings in on a 3-hearing process to make material changes as deemed material by the commission. If they aren't made by, on, or at, or by the 3rd hearing, a vote may be taken to deny. Denial can be with prejudice. The prejudice is that the application cannot in material form come back to the commission for a period of time, which staff will be able to provide you. Okay? All right, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thanks.
We're gonna move on to 30 North Beach. Good evening, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
With your permission, Mr. Chair, I'll begin.
Please.
So you've seen this before. This is our second time back to, actually our third time back to you. A couple of things. One is we've shifted the building back 4 feet. So the building is roughly 12 feet further back than the existing building that's on the site. You can kind of see it. Sure. Thanks.
Not working out for you, Matt.
I think what happens with Dropbox, it has the same file name, so it jumps to something else. So I'm so sorry. Just give me 1 second.
Could I just ask a question while he's,
While he's
Bring-
contemplating in the future, putting these files on USB. Yes.
yes, but Matt, did you just say you moved the new building back further than the existing one?
Yeah, the existing building is 12 feet further forward than the proposed. So if you see the existing building that's on site now, our proposed building is 12 feet further back from that.
Okay, I must be reading the site wrong. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby. Anyone else? Anyone else have questions to fill the time while Matt pulls this up?
So sorry.
Matt, in all seriousness, I think a USB is appropriate if you.
Yeah, it happened last week too. I'm so sorry. It's
Yeah,
basically,
and
I
we're-
think it's the
we don't
same.
have a best practice 3 strikes rule on the screen sharing, but we also don't want to have to develop one.
Fine. Almost there.
You are one of our best customers.
I
so,
know, it's driving
you
me
know, we
crazy
wanna-
because it literally just, yeah. Actually, you know what? Can I hold and come back? I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Just give me a second.
you're up next. You good with that? You ready? All right. You got your USB? Oh, I am not on this one.
And
I will say thankfully, but I will remind you of the 3 strikes rule.
I'm chairing.
Oh, could you,
Could you go walk my dog?
Yeah.
I was in the-
If anyone else needs your dog walk, just let me know.
Yeah.
Is it in the car?
Yes,
Yeah, where's the keys?
it's running. You can,
All right, folks. 85 Vestal. I'm sharing. Abby's on this. Angus, you're on it. Connie, you're on it. We're down to a 4-person board on this?
it's possible.
Looks like it. Okay.
Hi, Natalie
Hi.
Kaufman, counsel for the homeowner. I was planning to speak and then Uriah and Lindsay will be speaking substantively. Thank you. Also, the homeowner is on the Zoom if you have any questions for him. I do want to address the meeting history because I know that's been of discussion tonight. I know that you've seen this a lot and there's fatigue here, but I want to call out that we have materially responded and made substantive changes, and I've included the minutes in a supplemental submission. And part of that is to show that a lot of the comments were sort of overarching comments about programming and grading and just the steepness of the natural topography. And those aren't things that can really be addressed other than by, short of having just a small single family home and nothing else. So I do feel that we've responded, and I ask that if there is an inclination not to approve tonight, that courtesy is extended, because there have been a lot of substantive changes that Uri and Lindsay can speak to. I want to bring us back to what we're actually discussing, which is those, buildings and structures. Are they appropriate, subject to public view? And in that is the land that it's on and the immediate surroundings. And I want to bring up 81 and 89 Vestal, and I've included a cross section for both. I know that the board has had some feelings about 81, so I'll focus on the similarities with 89 in particular. I also want to note, because of the HGC records being scanned, I can't actually view the main house and secondary dwelling application for 89. So I did have to pull from the hardscape application, but in that context, the main house and secondary dwelling had already been approved, and so had the topography and grading. What we are proposing here is very similar to 81 and 89, and we've actually been more considerate with the height of retaining walls and screening, which Lindsay will speak to. And this is about what's in the context. On 89, although it's a bigger lot, what we're talking about is development parallel to that part that's closest to Vestal, not that property on Dukes Road. The fact of the matter is that this is a very difficult lot, which you have acknowledged, and my client is entitled to develop a buildable lot, and it's developing that with its difficult topography. And that is the nature of the topography, is that there is a steep slope, and 89 is a great example. Both 89 and 81 have, significant programming, a large primary dwelling, a pool, multiple structures. We need to be permitted to develop our lot in the same way that our neighbors have. And you've,
Yeah, there's your timer. And in this case, we have to have Uri speak as well.
sure, and Lindsay as well.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Uri, Lindsay, keep it brief. Thank you.
Okay, so for the changes for the main house now, would you mind scrolling down on the plans to page C101? It's I think page 7. Yeah, right there. That's the site plan, which main one before that. No, the one before the C101. Yeah. Over there, you can see the main changes with it. I shifted the house after your comments, shifted the house further back to or away from Vestal Street, and changed the parking arrangement so it's not right in front of the house, and we can create more screening and not having the driveway curb cut and pull in straight into the house, but more to the side. So the house ended up being further away from Vestal. It's also 1 foot lower than it was before. So the first floor elevation is at 38 feet 10, which is about 1 foot 6, 1 foot 2 actually lower than the driveway access, where the curb cut is. Also, the whole programming on the lot, I kind of stretched it further back, further to the north. So the pool is further back and another 10 feet or 9 feet. The guest house is further back another 9 feet and also lower, which we'll get to it later. For the main house, the main change I did, except this location on the lot and the height, I changed the would you mind scrolling down to the elevations now? Fiona, mind? Go down to the elevations to the page 11, which is the front. Yeah, right there. There's the front elevation from Vestal Street. I lowered the left mass and lowered the dormer top plate, so it's not aligned with the main roof. So it reads smaller and lower, and also I adjusted the front porch roof to be closer to the second floor window sills. I also did the second option on the left without the dormer, which I don't think it looks that good. I think the main with the dormer with the lowered plate is I mean, I think it's better option. And I mean,
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
you're
main
right.
change on the
What-
house.
What was the second option?
It's over there on the left, the option B, where I think Angus suggested in the last meeting to remove the
Okay,
dormer.
all right,
So I showed
it.
it as an option.
okay.
So that's the only change to the house, the main house.
Architectural changes, yeah.
Architectural change. And then
Um,
also I show on some 3D views and sections. I show the heights, how we built the retaining walls and where the screening is, and how the trees and plants block the views at the retaining walls, which Lindsay can talk about.
Okay.
Thank you.
One thing that wasn't clear to me, the house you said moved back from Vestal, is that,
Yeah,
I got that right?
yeah, further
By
away.
how much?
1 foot.
1
not,
foot.
not a lot, 1 foot.
1
yeah.
foot.
But
It
it's
moved
further.
back 1 foot.
Yeah, yeah. So it's 39 feet from the street right now. There is a 30-foot setback, and it's 39 feet away from the street, from
Okay.
Vestal.
All right, maybe this is more of a question for, okay, fine. Anybody, any questions for Uri before he goes? Anyone? Okay, Lindsay.
You touched on a bunch of it, but essentially, Fiona, can you go to the landscape plan? A colorful one. Colorful. Yeah, it's that one. Yeah. So the request of the board was to shift the driveway to the left, which is the lower part, as a way to add more screening along the front of the house. And so we're coming in at elevation 41 now, as opposed to we were coming in towards the middle to begin with. That was requested board, good request, because then it allowed us to have screening all along the road to help hide the house. And the elevation of the house did shift down to 3810. And just keep in mind that like the slope of the road, like in that top right corner, is elevation 48. So once you get trees in there and everything, the top of the trees are like 58. So it's going to screen a lot of like that guest house in the back, but it's also going to help hide the house as well. We also, as Uri mentioned, everything, the pool moved back, but it also went down 3 feet 4 inches. So we really stepped things down more with the grade. So the pool level lowered 3 feet 4 inches, and the fire pit level lowered 3 feet 7 inches from the prior application. We also pulled the walls on the left side in more tighter to the property line. All of this like works. So the concept, like the board wanted us to really work with the grades more and kind of step it down with the existing topography. So that's what we did here.
Lindsay, thank you. On the landscape plan, the finished floor of the main house, which is really what we're theoretically discussing right now, has it changed or it has?
It has changed.
It has.
Yeah. it will.
Okay, so it would be helpful to bubble that. So it's 3810 now, and did I understand Uri, maybe you said it went down a foot
Yeah.
with respect to what it was at the last submission?
It went down a foot, yeah. It's
That's interesting. It went back a foot and it went down a foot?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No, just with the driveway. I know there was a concern to make sure we had enough parking in there, and we have 4 spots. The way it's drawn now, I think that was one of the butters or Carrie's concern.
Speaking of which, let's see.
Mr. Chair, Linda. has
Oh,
her hand
Linda has her hand raised. Is that for real?
Yes.
Oh, Linda.
All right, can you hear me? I'm in New Jersey. I'm up in the attic at my uncle's house cleaning it out.
We can hear you loud and clear. What can we do for you?
I just came down from upstairs to get reception. Have you talked about the actual house itself, or have we been concentrating on just how it's sitting in the property?
No, we talked about the house.
Very little has changed,
Well,
because I
we as
remember
a
somebody
board
said
have
little
not
had
talked
changed.
About the house. They
Okay.
presented the changes to the house.
Not much. It's death by 1,000 cuts. It's 7 times they've been in here. It should have been bounced out a long time ago, denied due to lack of response to concerns expressed. You've given all the rest of us a bunch of crap about this. Just say, I have to put that on the record.
Linda, please
Have to
just
put on the
cut to your
record.
concerns.
Cut to the chase. Which way did it move? Towards the road or back towards the cliff?
Further away from the road.
Yeah, which puts it more visible from Duke's Road. We agree, we're at 87. The guy down below, I believe, is 34 Duke's. I agree with the staff comments. We agree with the letter put in by the property owner below the cliff. This is a very rural area. This is a smaller lot than the one to the left if you're standing in the road. It's overdeveloped. It's too much. The house is too much. It's pretty much going a setback to setback. If it moved closer to the cliff, there's going to be retaining walls. There's going to be, and you can't plant enough to hide this. Another property down the road has tried this maneuver and it didn't work. This is going to be fully visible, hanging out from Duke's Road. You can't ignore that. It's also open completely to Vestal with very little left. The whole front of the house is, if we're talking about landscape, the whole front of the house is parking driveway. Usually the HTC takes a really dim view of the entire lot line. This is lot line to lot line of being nothing but driveway and parking. That's something that's not normal up there on that cliff. On that and on Vestal Street side. I think this needs to be denied and get a grip on this property. Stop all the overblown 20 pounds of potatoes in a 10-pound sack and reduce some of this stuff. Certainly the hardscaping gets
Okay,
reduced.
Linda. All right,
You
Linda.
can see where we're all headed here.
Thank you.
But nobody's paying any attention to what the neighbors are saying, basically.
Thank you for your
Or
comment.
staff.
There we go. Okay, anyone else before I get to the board? Good, okay. All right, board members, what do we think? And I know I try this every time on this particular project, but it would be nice to hear comments that relate mainly to the house design. Understanding that, we've been reviewing this sort of in total. But who wants to start?
I'll start.
Angus, thank you very much.
So I appreciate the entrance to the driveway shifting over to the left and the house scooting back. The reduction in the height, but the overall volume there just hasn't been enough response to our concerns as far as the overall volume. And when we, look at each building, this detail is moved and that detail is moved, but what we're left with, and, if we go from this application to the guest house, to the pool house, so on, we're not really commenting on the big picture. In this, I'm seeing landscaping that is right on the property line, and I don't know if that's legal or possible. But there's a very wide driveway and parking that really covers the whole front of the lot, which is really where the screening should be for this, and soundly on the property line. I appreciate option B with the elimination of the dormers on that left flank as you're looking from the south, which helps with the additive massing. But this is round number 7, and if we were consistent, this would have been denied 4 rounds ago. So I'm over it. Thank you.
Okay, Angus, thank you. Who's next? We have-
I can give it a stab.
All
Oh,
right.
did you want to go, Connie?
It doesn't matter. I was just gonna say, and maybe there's nothing wrong with a single dwelling on a piece of property. I think we've been very consistent about the programming on this house, but architecturally, yes, I agree. I would be more in favor of option B. And if we're just gonna look at the main house. But that being said, I agree about the overall front. It looks like the driveway with the 2 parking spots on either flanking either side of the house. I'm not sure that that is appropriate. I still think the house is too large for this property with all the guest house, the pool, the cabana, shed, whatever it's being classified as. And I have to say too, that again, this is the 7th time this has come before us. And, I think minor tweaks have been happening to the main house, because I'm not even sure we've even reviewed anything past the main house. Or maybe we have looked at the garage, the guest house, or the studio. But I'm gonna just repeat what I've said right from the beginning, and maybe, you're gonna take exception. There's just way too much programming on this piece of property. I think everyone would like a pool and all this additional, building, but it's just not appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, Connie, thank you. That would leave you, Abby.
Yeah, well, everything Connie said and Angus, it's maxed out to beyond our guidelines. And if we're going to talk architecturally, the main house, starting with the main house should just be smaller. And maybe you don't even have that left wing. You just have the main mass and you have a secondary mass. Keep it simple. And I think the new design of the driveway going from lot line to lot line is so out of character with the rest of this road that is so rural. I can't imagine that kind of driveway there crossing the whole front of the house. But it's too maxed out. We got burnt. There was a letter from a neighbor who stated very clearly and very well, you know, what we got burnt on 81, I think it was. And the other one that you keep comparing to is a much larger lot. So this just to me seems just overdeveloped, and it's just not working. Thank you.
Okay. Well, for what it's worth, I think that, you know, over the very long course of the review of the house in particular, that the house design has gotten much better to the point where I could actually approve it. Although I prefer the option B over the dormered option, I think it's quieter. It also seems like there's a large expanse of shingle that just goes above the first floor windows with nothing really there. That would need to be reconciled. But I think that's actually a detail. Because it doesn't sound like you have a lot of support for this in general. The other thing I'd like to agree with some of the other board members on is the length of the drive, you know, and the fact that there's so much drive, and having that much drive and parking basically surrounding the front of the house is preventing you from having more vegetation that would mitigate the view of the house from the road. Now, folks, those are all the comments that I have on the house. I think we're at a, you know, point. What's the consensus of the board?
Well, I'm not at a point to, okay, the main house. You said you would.
No, I understand.
But I still think it's too large for the, even at the siting where it is, regardless of the pool, the patio, the guest cottage, and the cabana. Just the main building alone, I think, is out of scale with the site.
Okay, I appreciate that comment. What do the other two have to say, Angus, Connie? In terms of emotion, that is.
I'm not ready to approve this just for the overall scale of it and the impact on the road, the width of it in relation to the lot. And I agree with you, Ray. It's come a long way. It needed to come a long way, and it still has a way to go. And I'm uncomfortable with yet an 8th revision. This is 8 meetings into it. It's 7 old business meetings, and yeah.
I understand. Connie.
I'm in the same camp. You know, architecturally, like the house is, you know, it's appropriate. It's just too large, too much, you know, too large in scale for this actual piece of property.
Connie, that specifically, that comment is directed just to the house, not to the overall development of the
Correct.
property. Is that correct?
Yes. And,
Okay.
you know, I think somebody had said if they took off one, like the left wing, or, you know, maybe that would add more green space, which would maybe make the programming less. But I just think the house itself is too large.
Okay. None of us is loving the fact that this process has been drawn out for the length of time that it has been. Angus has alluded to the idea of the 8 strikes you're out policy that we have in place. I'm going to propose a compromise, which is that we limit our discussion right at the moment to the main house, future discussions. And if we can get the main house, if we can get the board members at this table sitting on this right now to approve the house, then I think we, have a chance of moving forward with the other amenities. Would it be fair simply to review the house? We've just reviewed the house. You folks have heard our concerns on the house, right? Unfortunately, you heard things about the other parts of the property, but you have heard from all four of us on the aspects of the house and the landscape as it relates to the house to be able to make revisions. If I was able to get you a motion for revisions, would you prefer that over a denial?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yes, you would. Okay.
So can I ask one question?
You may.
The revisions you kind of thinking about, like, let's say reducing that left mass, right? Like let's say we just make that mass go away. Would you approve something like that?
I don't want to speak for the board, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're
I just want to
asking
know we're
for.
going the right direction then.
Yeah, that's, so we just happen to have this up here. Is this the latest
Can
one?
that,
Yeah.
yeah,
So this is what's disturbing me, is
Yeah.
this side. You've got a main mass and you've got a secondary mass. And I think if it was reduced in that, to that scale, it would be a lot more easy to approve for me personally.
All right. So just to move this along.
Okay.
Would you all be okay, begrudgingly okay with having one more request for revisions based on the board's comments this evening? Would that be all right? Just on the house, everything else hold.
Begrudgingly, yes, I'd be all right with one more revision, but it would be the sizable one of losing that left massing and probably scooting the house over to sort of screen the guest house and move the parking out from all the way across the whole lot to just, maybe a turnout in front of the house, but the rest of it sort of going where the house was when it scoots over, something like that.
Agree. Okay,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
may I suggest, as an interested party in the process, that
Okay.
any motion include a time box? That is to say more specifically a 5-minute review or a 7-minute review. And if it can't be resolved and approved in that period, then you are done.
I think that's part of Angus's motion.
Did he say there was a time box?
That's my motion.
Okay. Great. We're all here at the table. All those in favor say, also, Angus, could you include further that review of the remaining amenities on this site will be held until resolution of the house application? All right.
That is included.
Okay, great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go. Thanks. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, folks, we are gonna take a break.
Oh.
I tried to get the dog go for a walk and it does not like my hat.
I'm gonna.
It does like the pizza.
It hates that. I'm gonna
And
go walk.
I cracked the passenger window just a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go talk to her right now.
I couldn't find the treats.
Mr. Chair, how long of a break?
I didn't realize the dog was really. in the
Mr. Chair,
car, so-
how long of a break?
Um, Bo's here, is that Bo Barber? Yeah.
Bo? Oh. No.
Just announce that you're gonna take it out of system.
Okay.
And which one you're jumping.
Good evening, Bo
We-
Barber.
Sorry, we're just, we're jumping ahead to 6 Fargo Way, taking it out of sequence.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bo.
Thank you very much. Okay, great. So if you pull up A6, please. Oof.
What? That's not it.
I'm getting close to 70, you know?
No, you're not.
Closer to 70 than not.
Are you 65 and a half?
36.
No.
Whoops.
Okay, down to the elevations at A6, please.
Yeah, is this a big portfolio of drawings? Because mine keeps crashing.
28 pages.
It's not that big. It's
I can
Pretty
use this. Could you tell us what your changes were?
okay. Yes. Good. Okay, so per the HTC's requests, we lowered the roof height, the ridge height to 28. Sorry, from 28.4 to 27.6. Increase the pitch of the roof to 8 pitch from 7.5. Lowered the plate height on the second floor from 9 to 8. And simplified the dormer from the dog shed dormer. If you could go to the next page, please. From the doghouse dormers on the east front facing the street elevation, and simplified that with a regular shed dormer.
Can you remind us which elevation faces the down the driveway?
Yes, so the driveway is the garage door,
Doors,
which is
okay.
north facing the driveway.
All right.
That is on A6.
Okay, thank you, Bo. So we've got Val's not, she's not, I don't think she's on yet.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Through the chair. So in the elevation that shows the dormers that you're just talking about, the 2 dormers that have been turned into one shed, there's the reverse stair, and there's vertical lines there. What is that? That would be the east elevation. 19? There, yeah. Oh, yeah. So the question is what that is.
Yeah, so on our revision 1, we had a stairway leading up, which is the secondary egress from the second floor, leading up and then entering through the side of the building, or side of the dormer. And we simplified that, thinking that that was a little bit too complex, and we should exit through the second floor porch or roof deck. So that was our intent, basically, to have that exit off the porch.
But are those vertical boards like 1 by 4?
Yeah, cedar. Yeah, that's cedar cladding, 1x6 VG.
Natural to weather.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to continue? Your comments? Or you want to wait?
I could wait.
Okay. Connie, are you ready?
I have another question about those vertical boards. Could the shingling just be pulled all the way down?
Would you like us to shingle that stairway?
Yeah,
Okay.
is that a possibility?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Okay. I appreciate the changes and that's really, that was my only real concern. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Val is online.
Oh, great.
Okay, and Joe also is on this.
And I'm here too, sorry.
Oh, good. Joe, are you ready to comment?
Sure. Yeah. When I looked at this, the only thing that jumped out to me, I mean, I think it's somewhat obscured from the road, so forth, but this elevation that we have up on the screen, this shed roof that overlays on top of the gable, it's a little bit of an odd condition, and I would prefer that just be a gable. I think if that was a simple gable intersecting into the other gable, that would be fine, but it's a little bit of an odd overlay if you look at the end elevations. But
Could we scroll down just a little?
those
bit
are my only comments. Thanks.
to the end? Hold on, Joe, I want to see what the ends are. Okay.
It's not, you can't see it on this elevation. If you go down,
Can you scroll down?
yeah, there you go. So you see the gable end, and then on the right, you have this addition that comes onto the building, and it overlays onto the building like a shed dormer would. And I think a more typical way of doing that would just be to have that be a gable with that intersects the other gable.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Val, are you ready?
Yeah. While there are some anomalies on this structure, I would just say look to the building that's there. That's rather anomalous as well. And it is at the end of a street. I am sure nobody goes down unless they live down there. And where this is getting placed, you look in the driveway, it's a bit obscured. So I think it's fine the way it is.
Thank you, Val.
Okay, I could go.
Go ahead.
So I agree with Joe's thoughts if we were really getting a clear profile view of this, but I feel like the shed sort of diminishes the impact, and this is what you're really looking at from the road. So with moving the eave down, Bo, you've probably heard us discuss this many times, but having that eave of the roof come down to the head casing of the windows in the shed dormer, and shingling the stair rail, I would be fine with this application.
Could you do an exhibit A? Or would you be okay with those changes?
Yes.
Okay. Could you propose that as an exhibit A?
Sure. That would be my motion.
Okay, on Angus's motion, Connie,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
okay, Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you, Bo.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, we are going to head back all the way back to 7 Pleasant Street. Grayson, good evening. All right. We're getting there.
Good.
When you're ready.
So you last heard this last month, and there's 3 main requests. One was a request for a height reduction to 6 feet on the gate. There was a request for a garden bed between the driveway and the dwelling, and then the AC units to be moved behind the privacy fence on the south side. And I've made those changes.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions for Grayson?
I just have like a question.
Yeah.
Grayson, when I first looked at this, I thought like the whole thing's bubbled, but that's left over from your initial application.
Right.
It says 10 by 30 colonnade. What is that?
So I'm not requesting that, but it was on the another architectural HGC plan. It's essentially like a Greek revival column style open
Okay,
side.
but it's like, because I don't see it.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's-
just requesting the patio underneath it.
I get it. Okay. And it obviously wasn't something that we discussed or were concerned about last time. So I'm fine with these revisions, Mr. Chair.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So the board is myself, Ray, Abby, Carrie, and Joe. Is Mickey with us?
I'm here and we're okay with these changes. Thank you.
Let's see, who'd like to comment?
I'm okay too.
Okay. Anyone have any concerns?
My only
Nope.
concern was the right-hand side, that I wish there was more vegetation going down that enormous brick driveway.
Okay. Grayson, I have a question. The drawing, did it do sheet dated 12/11/25? Revision R7 indicates some type of a stone treatment at the sidewalk, and that's currently brick. Is that intentional? And if so, what is proposed as the material? And if it's not, then we can change it back to brick.
So you mean right in front of the porch there?
Yeah, is it Goshen there now?
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
'cause
And so
this-
it's not Goshen. I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to match that in the rest of the landscape. And I think it's an old blue hued granite. But that's the goal, is to match that inside the landscape.
Okay, yeah, I've been down there and I didn't recall seeing it one way or the other being anything that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
So my purpose in asking isn't that I have a concern about it so much as I want to make sure we identify that it's prior existing, if that's what's there.
Yeah.
So there's no surprises. That's all. Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Approval as submitted.
Yep.
And let's see, on your motion,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Next step, thank you. Thank you for not being here 8 times on that application. 6 Fargo Way. We went over 37 Squam Road. Ethan, good evening.
Good evening.
Your board is myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Carrie. When you're ready.
Okay. I think you last heard this back in September. We had a little bit of snafu clerically. So we have technically, they were agency approved, but they weren't. They were held for review. So we're back with revisions as if we're kind of like starting like on old business. We did put the ridge poles out as requested. There were also comments that we thought in that time period, the last 4 months, we could address. So we are presenting a revised concept based on feedback we got from the first meeting. So this is the site. It's a pretty large site, but the buildable area is pretty restricted due to wetlands. Also we're contending with groundwater, but we are trying to drop this, fairly large structure as low as we possibly can. So it's at the level of the sunken tennis court. Just to kind of familiarize yourself with this, it's essentially we're calling it a sport barn, but it's an enclosed paddle or padel court. We've basically limited it to the minimum size that's a playable area. And then connected to it is a gym structure that's replacing existing gym structure. And it's largely, from a massing standpoint, matching a garage structure that's existing. So the little gable structure with the little cupola, it's sort of form-wise, it's matching an existing gable structure with a cupola. The board's comments, and if we scroll to the next page, you'll sort of see, okay, we just did a kind of a quick massing silhouette study of structures in the area just to kind of illustrate, it's a big structure in an area of big lots and big structures. And the next page, please. That's floor plan. And then I think the elevations are probably, so again, this is the two sort of the existing structures on the left, our proposed piece of the gym structures on the right, again, just matching the existing form with some, variety of fenestration and cladding treatments. The next page, please. Okay, so this is the yard side or the east side. So this is the sort of the highest elevation side. And again, we have more, of a barn-like structure. We've changed the massing to a gambrel, added the shed dormers, replaced the double hung windows with awning or fixed style windows, which were all recommendations or suggestions of the board previously. And added the cupola elements. Again, just try to kind of play it up and make it quite a bit more barn-like than the rather kind of contemporary sort of mass that was there previously.
Ethan, can I ask a question?
Sure.
You said this was the east side, but it's labeled the south.
Maybe just, yeah, it's sort of southwest. I'm sorry. Yeah, we might have just sort of picked a, no, you're right. It is dead. Yeah, it's more southerly. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
East is technically facing the water.
Right. Okay.
West is the road. Yep. So this is technically the roadside. This would be the west elevation.
Anything else, Carrie, on questions?
We're going to the gambrel away from the gable. That's a confusion for me right this minute because I'm looking at the proposed and the previous. Correct?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
We're going to this gambrel on the top versus the gable on the bottom. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, there was a attempt by the office to make it more barn-esque.
Yeah,
for the
I think
west of the board.
Yeah, I guess if you want me to go, Stephen, I think.
Let me just see if there's any other questions. Any
Okay.
other-
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, Carrie, go for it.
Well, this being the street side, I feel like the gambrel is less in keeping with Squam Road. Squam, as we know, is very rural. Not a ton of buildings at this end are really so visible from the street. But I do think the gable is more successful than the gambrel just because it's less top. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Let's see, Abby.
Yeah, so it's why I have the dog with me, is because I just went out there and then I forgot my pad and then the dog got in the car. So, yeah, so I went out there and I saw the posts and boy, when you just see the posts, you can't imagine it filled in, because when I look at the drawings now, that's quite an impactful building. I agree with Carrie that I like the previous, just a simple gable if we're going to see that. And I would also say that anything we do, we should bring up the screening on the road just to make sure we don't see this, because it is such a rural road. I wanted to ask now, is the length of that building, is that some function, is it a squash court in there, or what's making it so big?
Yes, through the chair. It's a padel court. You can, if you go to the floor plan, we've got, which is I think maybe the first page or second page. Next one. Yep. So that is basically the limit. You can see that sort of it's almost like a T-shaped kind of sort of area right outside the court, but it's a glass walled court, and we're basically pushing it right up against the edge of the interior.
Well, I think if there's, so my point in asking is that if there's any way we could take some length out of that, I'd appreciate that. And as for the cupolas, I think if you're going to do the cupolas, I noticed one closer to Quidnet that I guess makes a precedence, but the windows, I wish they sort of were sized to the size of the cupola. They look a little small to, if you're going to make that statement, make the window the proportionally correct. They just look a little on the small side. Thank you.
Thanks. Let's see, Angus.
Yeah, the same thing, the poles, if it were just the poles, it wouldn't be. And I only saw the high pole, just one at the road. I don't know if there was a back pole that came down, but it looked like there were two eave poles and one ridge pole closest. I appreciate the scale comparisons. When I look at where all those structures are, it looks like they're much further off the road than this one. And I think that the overall scale of this, as you've pointed out, is not that different, but what makes it more impactful is the proximity to the road. And I think the simplicity of the gable works better. The size of the dormers, if we could go to one of the eave elevations. Yeah, these dormers make sense. So if those dormers could go onto this simple gable and have these more simple windows than all the French doors, I think that would work. So it would be a clipped gable and the smaller dormers. And this is already high and sort of close to the road. So I'm not sure that the cupolas really help in this situation. Thank you.
Thanks, Val.
Hi. I agree with kind of what Angus just said. I like the idea of a combo. I appreciate Ethan listening to us and going, you know, we wanted more of a barn, but maybe the barn wasn't the gambrel. It's an odd roof, really wide. I agree the gable is more in keeping with the other buildings, and to change the dormers to the simple shed dormers that you have on your iteration now. And I wouldn't mind keeping the cupolas. They tie in with the buildings that are there and what's already there. But even if it was just one. And Ethan, what are the colors?
The colors, the trim is all gray.
Okay.
We're proposing the board, the barn boards is gray, and then obviously the sidewall is all natural to weather. The roof is
Okay.
Western yellow cypress, so it's silver.
Okay, thank you. Those are my comments.
Thanks, Val.
Mr. Chair,
Chair,
Carrie has her hand raised.
Carrie?
thank you. I just realized that if this is a padel court or a paddle court, half of this could be underground. I mean, you could sink this so far underground that the only thing on top is a small structure that's all, you know, of the highest height ceiling of the padel court. And it could read so much smaller than this. So I'm really not sure why you haven't looked at that, because this is very unusual to have on Squam Road.
Would it be okay if I respond to that?
Briefly.
Okay. Well, we did look into that. Actually, that was one of the iterations we explored fairly in depth in the beginning. It was deemed just actually the most expensive and infeasible option due to the groundwater. At best, we could probably, you know, there's probably a foot or so that we could drop it, but from a Concom standpoint, we need 2 feet of separation from groundwater, which is basically right there.
Thank you, Ethan. So my thoughts are, can we go just from the top elevation right down quickly? No concerns with this other than to the extent the cupolas come up in the next comment or two. Next. I don't have a concern with the gambrel. The 24-foot tall doors, or I'm sorry, the 10-foot-8 tall doors, I think are, to the extent they'd be visible, which I don't think is going to be the case, would be, I think, inappropriate. But not visible, they're just atypical. I think the 2 cupolas is fine. I think the cupola on the smaller structure, if you have cupolas on the big structure, it doesn't make sense to me. It's overkill. If you go with the gable, I do think that the gable dormers are appropriate. However, I think that Angus's comment about swapping out the shed dormers is also appropriate. The gable, the large structure gable could support the 2 cupolas. Back to the comment, if you do 2 cupolas on the big structure, lose them on both the small structures. Next elevation, please. Same thing here, and just less fenestration. A barn is typically not going to have this degree of fenestration. This is the elevation that would be Did I
Facing the
understand?
street, I think.
Facing the street?
Correct.
So again, that's subject to visibility. The second story window might be better supported with some type of V-groove shutter. Just something you'd see on a barn is there's a window and a shutter, or there's really just a shutter door and there is no window, but you're telling the story. So if it's the gambrel, I think it's okay, subject to visibility. If the cupolas stay, losing them on the small buildings. If it's the gable, I think same thing with the cupolas, if you put the cupolas on there. The other ones I'm not concerned about because of the visibility, atypical certainly, but and then with respect to size, I think the only thing that makes this approvable to my mind is if this truly reads as a barn conversion, not a contemporary build out of a barn-like structure. And I think that you understand what I'm trying to say there. I'm sorry, Abby.
You want it to look more like a barn than a ballroom. It looks like
Yeah,
a ballroom.
yeah.
Should I make a motion for revision?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, motion for a few revisions.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, on your motion.
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
Okay, let's see, 14.
Thank you.
New Mill.
I don't see anybody in the queue for 14 New Mill
Um,
online or in the room. This came to you last year.
Okay, well, we'll give
Oh,
them
actually, over
given we're headed out of here shortly, we'll give them a 10-minute hold to 6:10.
Yeah.
14 Beechcrest Shed, Structures Unlimited. Hey, Pat. And we do not believe Matt's coming back.
He didn't say, he might be online. I think.
Okay, maybe he is. Okay. I just wanted to see if he was before anyone. Pat, please proceed.
So if we could go to a front view. So this is the prior concept. As you can probably remember, it was requested to reduce it to a normal size shed, which we've done. So those are the proposed concepts. I think you're all the way at the bottom. Oh, there we go, right there. So this is the street view. Normal size structure. There's other similar size structures on the same street, across the street. Go to a plan view of the site. It should be up the top.
Mr. Chair, can I cut to the chase?
Sure.
Hold
Motion
on one
to
second.
approve.
I get a clear shot on the site plan.
So here's the site plan.
Can you zoom out? I'm sorry, Pat. Hold on a second. Can you zoom out a little bit? You know, or get the, yeah. There you go. Thank you. Okay.
So what we've done with the site plan is add the neighboring house, which right next to this proposed shed is a very large parking lot. There is no structure next to this proposed shed. And so what we've done is pushed it all the way to the edge, 5-foot setbacks on each side.
Okay. Val, you want to cut? Kim, now we go to the front elevation, and Val, you wanted to comment.
I think this is so appropriate as he's presenting us today. I could make a motion to approve it as submitted.
Mr. Chair, can I interrupt that motion for
Yeah.
a quick minute? We just have to change the application because it has different heights.
Right.
From the previous submission to this one. So maybe it's through
text
staff.
version,
Yeah.
Can we see the bottom one? These two. Oh, no, that first sheet that showed the gable ends, but the bottom elevation. The one up. Yeah, that west elevation. Okay, that's an apron. Okay, just wanted to understand what that was. The only question I have before, Bill, if you don't mind, this is, are these meant to actually, they look like they're windows versus, I don't know, these actually look to me like house windows versus.
No, this is a utility door that's hand built by
Okay,
us.
I just wanted to make sure that we were, what we were
barn-like,
seeing. Okay.
More old school.
Okay, Val, you have a motion on the floor.
Is the siding shingle or is it board? Okay, thanks.
It's myself, Ray, Abby, Val, and Joe. And do we have a motion?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Okay.
With the changes.
Oh, with the
With
correct.
the change
with the
of the
changes.
heights as written in the application.
Yeah.
Yes, to correct the application as
Perfect.
well,
Thanks.
to
On your motion,
reflect this. Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Ray,
All right.
and I, Angus.
I don't, am I on it?
Um,
I'm on it. Joe,
oh, Joe,
aye.
I'm sorry. I read the one above. Sorry,
That's
Joe.
okay. I'm an aye.
Okay, thank you. I was reading the one above it. 17 Hooper Farm Road, second
very much.
dwelling.
The conditions are
Reed
to
is
add the
online.
new dimensions on the shed.
Yes, correct the dimensions in
On
the
the
application
application.
portion, the text portion. Handwritten text. 17 Hooper Farm, myself, Ray, Abby, Val, and Joe again. Reed, you're up.
Good evening,
With,
everyone.
it'll be the same board for the next two.
Would I be allowed to share my screen?
Yes.
Yes, Reed, I tried to promote you to panelist, but you declined. Let me try it again.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's okay.
Okay. So from what I recall, there were some pretty strong feelings about the mass, the overall height and massing.
Yeah, and you reviewed the second dwelling first because of the site plan issue.
Okay, and the minutes are included. It's so nice to have these back.
Yes, isn't it?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
we are reviewing the
primary dwelling.
well, it has us reviewing the secondary one first.
Oh,
But
well,
so
Reed, we're gonna jump to the primary.
Yep. No problem.
Is the anchor. And I think it would be beneficial, given this is, this isn't uncommon on, like, this isn't a compound in the traditional sense, but it'd be good, guys, if you haven't previewed these, to open up the smaller cottage and take a quick look at it. Or you can proceed to the bottom of page A0.10 and see at least the front elevation of the two together. Okay, Reed, please proceed.
All right, great. Yeah. So in keeping with tonight's theme of shrinking, yes, last submission was commented as overscaled and overdeveloped. So this proposal reduces both in volume and footprint our submission for the primary dwelling. We've reduced the footprint and reoriented it towards what I would call, or I guess away from the corner of Hooper Farm and Cartwright Place, relieving some of the volumetric pressure on the outside corner. As far as the elevations go, we've made some pretty dramatic changes to the overall volume of the building. We have reduced the overall structure from a full 2-story to a 1 3/4 story structure with a secondary massing, which you can see on the south elevation here. This reduces the overall main mass by about, 4 feet. We've also lost a foot off of the entire width of the building. Obviously, the ridge height has dropped, given we've dropped to a 1 3/4 story structure. We've also added a few architectural details, such as the front porch and sort of rear side porch. And we've also increased the amount of fenestration, both in quantity and scale, which was another comment that was made previously, the fenestration being underscaled. And then as Steve mentioned, so we have provided a street elevation, which was, I believe, requested by Joe, and to see both the structures next to one another. And here you see that primary dwelling close to the, I guess, eastern, if you will, lot line, creating a sort of wall there. And we feel that with some perimeter plantings, evergreen plantings, we can promote a much more pleasant and appropriate scale for this street. And I can stop there if you'd like with the primary dwelling, and we can move the secondary dwelling after comments, if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. And at this point, we'll see if there's any questions. Anyone? Okay, who'd like to begin?
I will.
Primary first.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, was it Carrie?
It was Val.
Oh, Val, sorry.
I appreciate so much about this presentation. Thank you very much. My only question to read would be, can we have the little building on the corner move closer to the street and this one move back? You know, like change the two positions so that it's just a little bit farther back, but I so appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. I just want to get clarification. You're saying shift this back, not swap it with the.
No, I'm not
Right.
saying swap it. I'm saying the positions they're in. If the little building could move to where this one is and that one moves slightly back, that would be perfect.
You're talking about keeping them in their location, but sliding one forward and one back?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. I just wanted to be, okay. Who's
If
next?
you don't, I could go. This is Joe,
Joe?
because my comments echo Val's. Really appreciate the changes on the house, and I have no concerns about the design. So it's really just the site plan. I think that having them be equidistant from Hooper Farm Road probably isn't helping, although your streetscape certainly helps. I could see the guest house actually rotating 90 degrees so that the front door is on the other road and the gable end comes forward. It would put more space between the structures, because I think at a quick glance, they're going to kind of read as one building. Or to Val's point, having some shift. So your previous site plan, I thought, was more successful in terms of the building's relationships to the street. But looking at it further, I really think that you might gain something by rotating that secondary structure and giving it a street presence on Cartwright. Anyway, those are my comments. I think that the design for both of these is appropriate with respect to the architecture. Thank you.
Love that
Okay.
idea.
Thanks, Joe. Let's see, Abby.
Yeah, I like both of those ideas, shifting them so that they're not reading as a block of two buildings together. But I'm not sure if this is a trick of my eyes, but on the primary, do those windows seem a little too vertical to anybody? I would like to see them wider by the next level, whatever that is. They just look a little vertical, and they don't look vertical on the other one. So I'm not sure if anybody agrees with that, but that I think
Yeah, they do.
that would be nice to have them a little bit wider,
Yeah.
more friendly. Thank you.
Thank you. Angus? Oh, Angus isn't on this one. Ray?
Thank you. I think this whole proposal represents such a quantum leap forward in terms of the aesthetics. I really appreciate it, A, and B, I think that the orientation of the two buildings and the setbacks with respect to Hooper Farm Road is actually fine the way it is for this reason. We're looking from Hooper Farm Road at a gable end on the main building and an eave end on the single-story guest house, which I think rather than have two gable ends facing Hooper Farm, I would prefer it the way Reed has drawn it. And in terms of the setback that Val mentioned, generally speaking, we want to have the primary dwelling sort of a little bit closer to the road than the secondary dwelling, and he's giving that to us here. So I like it just the way it is. Thanks.
Thanks. So quantum leaps aside for a moment, because I do appreciate them, I want to focus on some of the details. One is the vertical nature of the window proportions overall, which Abby pointed out, I think astutely. The other is Reed, I appreciate the changes, don't get me wrong. But this is a kind of a big change for that area, and immediately adjacent is a ranch style home. I'm concerned with the current site plan and the height of the primary dwelling. It, basically reads as, you do the math, I think it's like 8.5-foot ceilings on the second floor and closer to 10 on the first floor.
Oh.
With that pitch roof and where it is located relative to the windows, and rough guesstimate. And the reason that's relevant is I think it can come down in height without changing the roof pitch, and or the proportion of the second floor windows to the second floor top plate, so that basically you're losing height in between under the second floor windows and as presented in the elevations between the second floor window sills and the first floor window head casings. That would help, I think, dramatically, and more so on this concept of the site plan modification. If you were to move this consistent with recent developments in the immediate area, where two rather large duplexes, well-designed, I think, Reed, the designer, are behind two small dwellings, which are really a traditional Cape, the 1 or 2 bedroom units that are, the precursor to the ranch. And those are forward, and I agree with what Ray had said, that typically we look at it the other way, but I think in this area, the concept of having the smaller structure that is a Cape style or a ranch style, immediately visible from Hooper Farm as a primary, I think is in the character and setting that exists appropriate. I'd go so far as to say highly appropriate. And I think you have room on the site to make that happen and shift the primary dwelling, rotate it so that the gable faces Cartwright, the front door gable, and the west elevation that has now been reduced in height is in the distance, if you will, as viewed from Hooper Farm. So you're basically rotating that structure counterclockwise 90 degrees and moving it over towards where the parking is, and then working out your parking in a way that I think could be where the second dwelling is, and the second dwelling could be further over to the left. It's a little bit of shifting, but it would, I think, make this presentation very appropriate with what exists there, including the new development vocabulary that has been introduced very successfully across the street and up one home on Waydale.
I like it.
If any of that's difficult to grasp, I suggest take a drive by. You'll totally understand exactly what I'm talking about. Reed, are you guys have got some flexibility in making this happen?
I would say that my only concern with the shifting of parking is keeping away from the corner radius sufficiently enough to allow for room for the primary dwelling to exist between the parking and the rear setback. We did try to, Cartwright is a private road, as I understand it, as opposed to Hooper Farm. And given what we're trying to programmatically accomplish, we felt having back out parking was more appropriate for Cartwright, and the most efficient use of the space was having it towards the rear lot line. We did take a look at the primary dwelling, behind the secondary dwelling, but it did require a much more substantial reduction than what we are showing, and what we felt like was substantial reduction from what we previously proposed. So that's where the gable forward towards Hooper Farm and the one-story concession of the secondary dwelling came from, was to try and present something that was still appealing but also, functional for what we think is vehicularly appropriate. We would be much more inclined to either shift the primary dwelling back or the secondary dwelling back, or both of them back, giving one or the other dominance. We would also be open to rotating the secondary dwelling, but we would highly appreciate being able to keep the parking the way we have it, given other iterations we've gone through.
Okay, thank you. My only common response is I understand, and especially with respect to the 25-foot parking area distance from intersection. And if that were the case, the height modification of approximately a foot less height is really important. And my preference with respect to what would be appropriate for character and setting would be to shift the primary dwelling back by at least 5 feet. Any other comments from anyone?
Me?
Okay. Was that a me or a no?
No, that's a me.
Okay, Val.
I think what's important is to think about this neighborhood, and I know that it's evolving, having lived in it my whole entire life. It's a series of ranches, or was, and everybody had their yard in front of the house. So everything coming closer to the street is starting to change that character and setting, as you always say, Steve. So I think I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Val. I agree wholeheartedly.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I would be more than happy to move back that structure through an Exhibit A, if that's at all possible.
I don't have a concern with that if the other board members don't. I would actually ask, I'm not registering any concerns in Exhibit A that reflects moving the primary dwelling back. I don't know. Val, you think 5 or 7?
Either. I just think just to get it farther back is going to be more in keeping with the neighborhood, and everything else I so appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, so let's say 7 feet, because you don't want to split up the yard such that you can't use either of them. And Reed, if you want to make it more, the Exhibit A will indicate a minimum, shifting the primary dwelling a minimum of 7 feet away from Hooper Farm. And if you want to shift it further back, I don't think there's any resistance or concern. And it decreasing the height of the structure by, you can get a foot out of that, right?
Well, we do have, which was noted on the condition, we are requesting a little bit more height on the first floor, only because we have a separate mechanical system just for the first and second floor that we need a little bit of room for those ductworks to run as opposed to coming from the basement. However, I would say we could take a little bit out of the eave wall heights. Either I would say it's probably less preferable to equalize them, dropping the main mass to be equal with the secondary mass.
Reed, how about this to keep it simple? Take 6 inches out of the height of the structure without changing the top plate or the roof pitches or the second floor fenestration relationship to the top plate.
We can make that work, absolutely.
Okay, so that would qualify the concern. And the last item is to upsize by one size. You think one size?
One size.
The width of the windows on the primary dwelling to make them less vertical.
Done.
Is that track?
Yeah.
Joe, is there any concerns with any of that?
No, I'm following along. That all makes sense to me.
Okay, cool. And let's see, Ray, I see you with your pen in hands, ready to do an Exhibit A. Is that your motion?
It is.
Okay, on your motion.
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thanks, Reed. Let's get that.
Thank you all.
Motion
get
to
that-
approve the second dwelling.
Hold on, Hold on one second, Val.
I agree.
I gotta go get that.
Abby, no, just for one second, that dog is so warm in that little car. He's enjoying himself. Is the only concern here that the window sizes that appear to be more vertical than not?
You're on the guest house?
Yeah,
Because I think it's different window sizes, isn't it?
they look
Well, one is short and one is tall.
on the east elevation. No, they look like they need to be just like literally 2 inches wider.
Okay,
overall.
all right.
Do we got a motion on that? Reed, did you?
I'll make that
actually-
motion.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I don't want to belabor this, but we have 2 minutes before 6:30. Reed, are these the same windows used on the structure on Waydale?
Yes.
Okay, then I retract my comment. They look like that on paper, but on this structure versus the main house, which is taller, I think they're fine. I've seen them in real life.
Ditto.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve as submitted?
Yeah.
Motion to approve is submitted. Are we shifting it at all or is it staying where it
This
is?
will be I think this does, do you want to, let me look at the site plan. Was this going to shift back? No, I thought this one was all right.
Shift
We want it to
forward?
be forward of the other. I think this is good. I would suggest we leave it.
Okay, I'm good
Okay,
with that.
your
I'll,
motion is to approve as submitted, Val?
yeah,
On your motion?
aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Abby? Ray?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Did George, Ellis, Vincent, Kanamala?
Thank you all.
No.
14 New Mill?
No.
No. 28 Pine, Matt's not here.
That's not here.
Next HCC meeting is January 20th, and it's a new business. Kathy, just because I keep forgetting, will you please move incomplete applications up to a discussion point? And remind me in the office what the consents one was about? We don't need to talk about it now. We'll have to figure it out. I don't recall.
I'm posting the agenda on Thursday because we have a holiday on Monday.
Okay, so we'll have time
So
to figure it out. We may move the consents topic up to, I just need to remember what it was.
I don't know.
Okay.
Turning them in
incompletes and
earlier, I
perhaps
think.
Consents, and with that,
Wait, what did you say, Val?
Turning them in earlier.
oh, that's what it was. I'm
Yeah.
usually the one who's late, but that's just a function of being the chair. Wow, it's amazing how smoothly that came out. With all that said, can we have a John McLaughlin, please?
John McLaughlin.
Motion to remove ourselves.
Yes, on John McLaughlin's motion, the members present. all in
Aye.
favor say
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that's Angus, Abby, myself, Ray, and Connie for the minutes maker. Okay, thanks, Ray, for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you'll catch the part about them having an option to move it further back.
Yeah, I'll put that in there.
That's very helpful. Just the reason I brought that up is there's